All right. Welcome, everyone, to the June 22nd, 2026 West Haven Special Service District meeting. First thing in business, meeting is being brought to order by James Jensen. Opening ceremonies will be done by Nate Morris for Pledge of Allegiance and Ryan Swap for the prayer or moment of silence.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear, kind, and gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight as a district board, and we want to give thanks for the relative peace that we've been able to experience here in our country. We thank thee for the wonderful events that we get to experience here with our city, the city days this week, and thank thee for that opportunity to do so. Father, we ask thee that you look out after all of the firefighters in our state that are fighting all of these fires, and please bless them that they're successful to get those fires mitigated as quickly as possible. And please bless all of those that have been removed from their homes and their property at this time. And we ask that you look out over them as well. We ask for these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Nate and Ryan. Public presentations, there's nothing on the agenda. So let's go into the next item. Oh, for anything else? Okay. Is there anybody in the audience who wants to do a public presentation? It's not on the agenda? Okay. All right. Let's see. Next item number 4, discussion of cross connection remediation cost of approximately 5025 west and 4075 south. John, you gonna bring that up?
Yeah, I've mentioned this to the board in the past. We found a cross connection down south of 4,000 and east of 5,100.
Fairgrove.
Yeah, down in the Fairgrove area. So we didn't know when we found some remnants of sewer and stuff in the storm drain system. So we suspected there was a cross connection in that area. After going out and having some camera done and some work done and different things, we was able to locate that it is, or identify that it is a cross connection at a home in one of the last cul-de-sacs before you hit 51 there.
Okay.
We went back through the files. We did an inspection on that years ago when it was done. One of our staff inspected it and passed it off and approved that it was connected correctly. So the thought to go back to the homeowner for these costs of getting that cross connection remedied and switched around the way it needs to be, we felt like it's kind of, in a sense, our responsibility to do what we need to do there to make that right.
Okay.
So we initially had some companies come out and give us some quotes and different things of what it was going to cost to do the work. And it was substantially higher than what we had originally thought. So we held off on doing the work until we met with the board and discussed. So you had an idea of what that cost would be. And I think we might have put 30,000 in for this, which should cover the cost of it. But I just want to make sure that you guys are clear as to what that is. I know with your packet, there was attached some photos and different things of the house, and the nature of it is such that these things always happen to the most beautiful yard in the lot or in the area. You know, I mean, it's not like It's all done in rock and landscape, and it's going to be quite extensive to do the work, trying to keep it out of the road and do it in the yard for restoration. We weighed that option out versus going into the road, and it was still going to be a little cheaper to do it in the yard and stuff, but we'd have to just restore it back the way it is and get the same material and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it's so that you're aware of, I don't, aware of what that, we did put it in the budget. It is on there, but it's just so if you have questions as to what is it, why did we increase this $30,000, I don't know that we did a line item for it. We just,
The budget?
I think we increased our maintenance budget to that amount. One, we're not 100% sure where that would be. We needed to increase the maintenance budget a little bit anyway, and so I think it's in there, but if we need to do it differently or amend that or change that to however you
Right.
want to do it, this is
Is-
kind of why we want to bring it up before.
Is the city acting like the general contractor on that, or are you subbing everything out?
Yeah, we would sub this out.
Okay.
I mean, the equipment and stuff that we have would be stuff that we don't have
All
that
right.
we need to do the work. So anyway.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, do you have a date and time and all that kind of stuff's gonna be going on?
Well, once we get into July and stuff,
Okay.
I think we will put together a scope and get some bids back in
Okay.
and go through the process. So.
Okay. Any other questions? You guys all good? Okay. All right, let's enter a public hearing. Do I entertain a motion, right? Curious for enter a public hearing for item A for the purpose of receiving public input on the amendments of the 25-26 West Haven Special Service District budget.
So moved.
Yeah,
I'll second it.
perfect. Okay, let's do the first one. You have any questions about the amendments on the budget?
All in favor?
We're all
Say-
good?
Say aye.
All in favor? Do we have to do a roll call?
No, you just have to make sure you enter the public hearing with everyone.
Okay. Thanks for your patience. I'm learning here tonight. Okay, so let's do a roll call.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye. I'm aye. Aye, okay. Gotta speak loud around here, Alicia. I'll miss you. Okay, so any questions going back to that West Haven Special Service District budget? Anybody in the audience have any questions? No, did everybody speak at once? Clarence, you don't have any questions?
No
Okay.
questions.
All right, Leonard, motion to leave.
So moved.
I'll second it again.
Second that, okay. We'll do a roll call?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's an A. Let's go do number B. I'll entertain a motion for approval to go into public hearing for the purpose of receiving public input on adopting the West Haven Special Service District 2026 and 2027 final budget.
So moved.
So moved.
Second it again.
Okay, roll call?
Aye.
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 Okay, there we go. Okay, number 6. Roll call again. So I'll entertain a motion to,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I think we're in the public hearing right now.
Yeah,
We
you're-
need to see if
Oh, yeah,
anybody
exit
wants
out.
to come up.
See if anybody wants. to-
Oh, I apologize, guys. Sorry.
First day, it's okay.
All right. Any public input on that budget for 2026 and 2027? Scream now or hold your peace. Okay. Now we go back for roll call, right?
You can leave it.
Leave the public hearing. Okay. Okay, I'll leave the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion for the purpose of receiving public input and adopting the West Haven Special Service District 26 and 27 final budget. So
So moved.
Clarence,
Second again.
second again. Okay, sorry. Let's do roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay. Now we're going to item 6, action item 6, correct? Okay. Boy. All right. On the action items, do a roll call here on resolution 05-2026 approving amendments to the 2025 and 2026 West Haven Special Service District budget.
And Katie is here if anybody has any questions.
Oh, that's right. Katie's back there. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
None here.
Okay, did you want to have anything you want to tell us back there? I'd hate to have you not participate. She's so excited. Yeah,
Oh. I think the only thing is there were just two things that we did an amendment for. One of them was for depreciation, and that was kind of account for some of the capital projects
okay,
that are happening in this past fiscal year, that we're about to close out, and kind of calculating out how much depreciation might be accrued for that. And that's the reason why I suggested that we increase the budget there.
okay,
Is just to make sure that we're kind of covering our bases is there when we're
Budgets.
doing our year-end accounting and that kind of stuff.
okay,
And then the other one is I was looking through the account that is in relation to West Haven City. And since we were, not quite complete in the year for accounting, I wasn't quite sure how the payments were laying out. So I wanted to make sure that we were in the clear there because I could kind of count out the payments and it looked like we might be one short. So I increased that budget just to make sure. If we aren't, then obviously we're covered and good, but I didn't want to run into, a deficit budget issue. So that's what they are for.
okay. Thank you.
And if there is a surplus, what happens if with that additional budget that goes in and then not,
Yeah, so it's just not going to be utilized at all. So it's pretty much just to make sure that we're not going to, for state compliance, into an issue with the budget not being enough for the actual costs. Other than that, there's not going to be really any like taking and going back. It's just for budget purposes.
doesn't get used.
Mhm.
Okay,
Anything
thank
else?
you.
Good.
Okay.
And then we enter into a entertain a motion on action item A.
I'll move that we adopt Resolution 05-2026 approving amendments to the 2025-2026 West Haven Special District budget.
Okay,
I'll second.
entertain a motion, okay, second. Roll call?
Aye.
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 Hi.
Aye. Aye, okay. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, let's, resolution, this is B on the action item, resolution 06-2026, adopting the West Haven Special Service District 2026 and 2027 final budget. Entertain a motion?
We just want
Oh, do you have questions? Trying to get us all out of here earlier tonight. Does anybody in there have questions regarding this resolution?
No.
No, we're all good. Lisa's good. Mayor, you're good?
I think we're good.
Okay, no questions? Sharice, thanks for your patience and walking me through some of these. Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 06-2026, adopting the West Haven Special Service District 2026-2027 final budget.
Okay. You get a second?
I'll
Oh,
second.
Alicia gets a second. Okay, roll call.
Aye.
All right, okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
And then, Sharice, on the C, we don't accept the fraud risk assessment for fiscal year?
So Katie talked about that. Ryan did it, huh? Sorry.
Brian, okay,
Something we have to do every year. It's stayed the same since last year.
okay.
We're only missing one thing, I believe, on the requirement, and it's the internal auditing.
Okay,
We don't have to do, I think the city approved theirs by resolution, but we don't. You guys just have to review it and accept it.
okay. So roll call?
No,
Roll
you
call
can
work?
do-
Just say,
You can just do a, standard vote.
okay,
I would move that we accept the fraud and riskment assessment for fiscal year 2025-2026.
thanks, Ryan.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's item number 7 on the action, register the staff report and project updates. John?
Just the one update at this time would be the 4450 lift station, that pump change out, the control panels, the soft start or the VFDs, that work has been completed.
Okay.
So they did that pretty quick, but anyway, it's up and running now, I think officially on its own, right? Doing everything it should. So we're excited and happy to have that station upgraded with that new software and the new soft starts, all the stuff that we put into that. I hope the board knows how much we appreciate supporting us in that. It's going to be a nice facility over there. So we're excited for it.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you, John. Ed is gone, so we'll skip and go to the Central Weaver update. Mayor?
Thanks for, sorry for my delay.
Oh, you're good.
We had public hearing and went a little bit longer, but I appreciate you allowing me to just catch up on a few things. So over there, the projects that are going along, probably of concern with West Haven, is the 1900 West project. It's continuing, it's slow, but Ames is still working on that project, trying to get that completed. The lanes they've moved lanes over, everything's kind of shifted over, so traffic continues. The area around the 1800, 1900, they're trying to get that completed to make sure that that's mostly going to be done here pretty soon. So that should move off that intersection, I think, pretty quick. Is that what you guys are seeing at this point? Okay. So, but everything seems to be working pretty well with that. There's several other projects on campus that are happening, but UV has been now 1 full year since the time they switched from chlorine over to the UV lighting. So far, so good. That saved some costs, but increased electrical costs. So again, I would encourage them to eventually look into solar for that plant, because they use, I think their electrical bill for that's around $93,000 a month. So they use a lot of energy over there for that, but it does help, and chlorine costs are a lot less because they were getting out of control. So anyway, there's some good things happening over there. They also touted that they've had their vac truck for a while. Their vac truck has been like a huge asset to them. They talked about how they have cleaned out these 30-foot tanks down below and vacuumed all the sand and all the garbage out of the bottoms of those and cleaned them up. It saved them a ton of money overall, even owning their own truck for that. So it's been a popular move for them. They get the sand and grease down out of that with the HydroX kit that they put on there, which also they can do some things with digging with that takes away from a backhoe, which I don't understand all that exactly, but apparently they can avoid using a backhoe so much that they can use this vac truck to dig holes with. Is that correct? Does that sound right? That's the way I understood it. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then they're switching over to the polymer manholes covers and the units over there, and getting away from the concrete ones that can deteriorate. And so that was, I thought, an impressive thing that's not too much difference in cost, and it's saving them a lot of time and maintenance in the future. So I thought those were really good things. I think that was about it. Other than that, just getting everything else taken care of. Their fraud and risk assessment was done also, and also the public hearing for their budget. So thank you.
Well done. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, moving on to item number 9. Let's see. Change order for number 4 for the Corio Incorporated for extension of the completion date of the 2700 West lift station. Anybody want to talk that?
I can.
Okay, Amy?
So at the last meeting, the board gave Corio several things that they wanted to have accomplished. One was that she wanted Brian or Russ, one of the 2 owners of Corio, to inspect the job site every single week, and then to email the progress that it was going on. And they have done that every week along with pictures
Okay.
that should have been forwarded to the board.
Yeah. I've
You
seen
guys
this.
did get that,
Uh-huh.
right? Okay. They've also, Brian or Russ has attended by Zoom weekly meetings with Gardner Engineering regarding the progress of the project. The board had also asked to have, for one of them to have a meeting with staff, which was me, Ed, the city engineer, Gardner Engineering, John, regarding what their final completion date was, how that they were coming up with that date.
Right.
June 10th, well, originally Riker had sent out an email to everybody about getting that scheduled, like within a couple of days after the last meeting. However, Brett, the project manager from Corio, had asked to have that set a couple weeks later because they were hoping to have a better idea as to what their final completion date would be. June 10th, we had the meeting with Russ and Brett from Corio to discuss the final completion date. However, it was not very successful because they didn't come prepared to speak about the final completion date. But they did submit the June 12th letter outlining the new schedule along with a photo of the job site. And so that's where we're at with.
Where we're at with the dates and times.
And so right now, they are suggesting September 4th as the final completion date. If you'll recall, the last change order was June 5th for substantial completion and June 19th for final completion.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now.
Okay.
I think that, turning the time over maybe to Brian for you guys to
Sure.
address.
Can I ask a couple quick questions, Amy?
Yeah.
Just for some facts here, when was this project awarded or executed with Corio?
I believe it was, they got a notice to proceed March 13th, 2025.
March 13th, okay. And at that time, was there a payment performance bond?
I think that we
Yes.
need to,
Okay.
yes.
And was there a schedule initially on that March 13th?
I think that maybe Ryan might be able to answer, Ryan or Riker.
1 year.
So that would have been March of 2026 this year.
And then the first change order that we gave them the extension on, was that for a scope of work change or what was that for?
That was on 11/12/2025, and it was for, hold on just one second. There was needing to prepare an additional geotech report to cover the depths required for the wet well. And after assessing, need to propose additional shoring. There was also per pre-con discussion that we would be handling the fencing of the site. It looked like there was a change order for money. And the original contract times was substantial completion 2/20/2026, ready for final payment 3/6/2026. That was the change order effective date 10/29/2025. I think it was actually granted 11/12 at your board meeting. 11/12/2025 is when it was granted.
Perfect. And then on that geotech report, this is probably a Ryan question. Was that something we left out of the bid documents that they needed to perform their work?
Okay, if I answer for you,
If you don't mind, is it okay if you come up?
Yeah.
I just want to understand the project is all.
That's great. Thank you. The question was regarding the geotech that we prepared in design. The city, the district rather, hired a consultant geotech. There was some tests completed in coordination after award with Corio. It was determined that some additional testing was needed given the depths that were investigated with the study versus what the shoring contractor wanted. And so we granted that, and that's what that process was, is additional time to do that.
Okay, and that change order covered the cost of that geotech report? Was that
There
Or is
was,
that through
I
us?
believe there was both, in cost. There was a few things with the shoring that were revised upon, collecting the additional information, but so was both time and, um, cost.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Did you want me to talk about the other two change orders?
Do you please? Yes, because this is for change order 4 today, correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
So change order number 2, the date on that one was 12/5/2025. And that was that we had requested the grate for the building interior hatch have a safety grate for fall in protection. And they were asked to provide a submittal for review and approval by the District of Naco Engineering, and then asked to provide a cost for that equipment and materials. And so there was an increase of 35.57 on the contract, no additional time requested on the contract period. So that was number 2.
Okay,
Number 3 was, that was granted on March 16th, 2016, and that was that there was couple of things. One was we had requested ladder rungs be added to the wet well wall for entry and exit, and that they were asked, Corio was asked to provide a submittal for review, and the cost for that equipment. So that was an increase of $1,688.30 on the contract. And then they requested additional compensation for the influent pipe wet well wall penetration. And so there was some issues regarding that. And then they requested that a substantial completion date be of 6/5/2026 and the final completion of 6/19/2026. So having the substantial completion go from February 20th to June 5th, and then have final completion go from March 6th to June 19th.
okay. I think I got this written down. Thank you.
You good?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, thank you. I
Okay.
just wanted to get the backstory.
Sure, sure. And then it was at around May when we realized that the schedule that was requested at change order 3, from about the point when the masonry block was completed to completion, just was obviously deficient. It had not requested enough time for multiple items that we outlined in the change order for framing, not nearly enough time for electrical, nor for the required pump station running, a test running of the pump station, lift station after it was complete. So this was our error that we discovered, that it was just not sufficient. We had maintained fairly well. We weren't exactly on schedule. I believe we were 8 days off from that schedule in May when we discovered it. And so we realized we've got to have enough time to do the items required on the contract to complete it sufficiently. There are, in addition to discovering that, it was also recognized that we needed to accelerate what we could. And coming in the last board meeting, we presented what we felt was a reasonable schedule that wasn't refined yet to substantial completion, and just went in through this same reason of why our own mismanagement of the schedule itself, that we did not request the time needed to complete it, and that if that had been done when we requested it, it would have been about into the August timeframe that it is now for substantial completion. And then a few weeks after that into final completion. And then that goes through the reasons why. I don't know how many board member, how familiar everybody is with this project itself, seen the plans or anything like that. Some of you may, but it's on a very small job site. This excavation that we needed the geotech report for is 25 feet deep into very low, there's groundwater in there, a lot of clay soils. It's a hard dig. The site is small enough. We've got the old lift station there that has got to stay operating. And so there's only so much we can do while that's there. However, since this last board meeting, we've accelerated with the electricians, just having them throw extra guys on there, and we paid them to throw extra guys. The masonry work that was finishing up. But when we discovered it was about when the masonry started, we gave the mason our laborers, said just use them for whatever. Let's get this going. And then had phone calls with our suppliers on the electrical side. We talked with anybody we could about material that was coming in. There was a meter base that was in review process. We called to see if there was anything we could do with that to SKM. And then just in addition to the requests of the board being up there every week and keeping an eye on progress of how it's gone, we felt that since that time it has gone well, and that the schedule that we've submitted is a responsible one. We hope that we beat it. However, it has the float in there that I think is responsible for any schedule, just because there are things that who knows what comes up. At this point, we're close enough to it that we feel fairly confident that we can hit that if we keep our foot on the gas and keep going. We have had the submittals that we needed. Gardner chased those down, got those approved. The meter base a bit ahead of schedule is installed. That'll allow the power to come in. So it is recognizing that we did not ask for sufficient time the first time, and that caused a lot of it was not a good schedule, and we made that mistake. And so it's just coming back to say, if we could have the time to get it done. We mobilized onto the site, I believe, last September. We're planning on being out of there beginning of this coming September. 11 months for a lift station of this size, this complexity. It's not the most complicated one we've done, but with the deep dig, it's complex. We feel that's a reasonable time, and we feel the quality is good. I think everything going into it has been good. I mean, it's a great design, good engineers. We're doing a good job with the guys we've got, and we're experienced. We've done these things. We've done many of these things, but we did not turn in a good schedule on that change order number 3, and that's what's gotten us here. So we apologize for that, and we're just asking that if we could get that the schedule that we've got in there. Like I said, it's a responsible one. We feel like we can hit that, and we'll keep the accelerating process going and get out of there as soon as we can.
Is there more questions for him?
So you mentioned meter bases and submittal approval. Was that something that we delayed you on?
I couldn't talk I can't say to the process before we got more involved with it. However, I can say that as far as critical path going, it is not affecting critical path. It's not going to hold anything up. It's more just giving the electricians the time to get all of their stuff in. We had to have the framing up, the building up, get it dried in and covered, and then the electricians could move in. And then once all the sensors, everything, the motor, everything's powered up, then we can go with the, we've got to do a bypass on it. There's a lot of detail going into it, but this meter base, with the schedule we've got now, I don't believe was a critical. It could have had it delayed. There were some things that we weren't sure as far as inspections. The city had to do an inspection. Rocky Mountain Power had to do an inspection. Those happened really quickly. I don't know if someone from the city helped out. Rocky Mountain Power can be an unknown quantity in a lot of jobs we do. They seem to respond really, really quickly on this one. So if somebody did pull some strings, thank you. But I don't believe that's an issue. Meter base. Yeah.
It was inspected today.
Sure.
Rocky Mountain will be in 29th of February to get the power to the new building.
So on our submittal process, do we have that go through you, Ryan, in your organization?
It does.
Do you know when their submittals were turned in for that? I mean, if that's something that's still kind of a hang up, and 3 days ago was the contract completion date. When was those submittals turned in?
Submittals for a project of this type, it's not uncommon for submittals to trickle in, as the various as the various phases occur, and that's been the case here. I can't necessarily speak to a delay on their side. I know there's been efforts on both sides to expedite things. I'm certain that there's probably been a few that have slipped through the cracks longer than others, but I can't really pinpoint any in particular. Um, so they weren't submitted as one package and reviewed as one package. As you can imagine, there's different elements of the process were submitted and approved, and to date we're up to speed on the submittals. So it's both Gardner Engineering, and then there's a couple other specialized engineering consultants that are involved in it, and so collectively everybody's been reviewing the elements that they were responsible for as part of design.
Okay. I'm not expecting you to remember these dates right now, but I mean, this contract started on, what is it, March 13th of 25?
Mm-hmm.
So in that first 6 months, did you receive any of those submittals?
I would imagine that there were some. We could certainly, we have a tracking of all of that. That could be provided. I can't really speak to the level of which ones were. Initially, it was largely geotechnical and shoring related. So I'm certain that there were things of that nature that came through.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And then on submittals for the beginning of the project too, there would be the pipes, the fittings, the stuff that goes in the first that were submitted initially, stuff with long lead times that would have been reviewed during that. Right when we'll get our contract, we'll turn in a lot of the long lead items that we have. A meter base doesn't typically take that long to get here. So, and this one didn't. It was in stock. So.
Well, we've had trouble with meter bases with Rocky Mountain Power for our irrigation systems at some of our parks, so
I
we're
think
aware of
they
that.
approved a different one. Didn't we? Yeah, we got helped out with that one too, to get that in here quicker. So yeah.
Good to know. Any other questions?
I have a couple.
Yes.
You signed the agreement between owner and contractor for the construction contract, correct? Back at the beginning of all of this,
You're talking the whole contract for this project? You're asking if we signed it?
yes, you signed it, correct?
I believe we signed it.
Part of that, did you read the full contract that you signed?
What part are you referring to?
Well, did you just answer the question? Did you read the full contract?
The agreement? I don't think I read the whole thing. They tend to be pretty similar to most. When we read a contract, we'll usually look at just the dates and that the price is right on there. It corresponds to what we bid, and then we'll sign.
So in it, are you aware that in Article 8, the contractor's representations, that it states that you represent the contractor has visited the site, conducted a thorough alert visual examination of the site and adjacent areas, and became familiar with and is satisfied as to the general local and site conditions that it may affect cost, progress, and performance of the work?
Yes.
And that the representations also state that the contractor is familiar with and is satisfied as to all laws and regulations that may affect cost, progress, and performance of the work?
Yes.
And that you've considered the information known to contractor itself, information commonly known to contractors doing business in the locality of the site, information and observations obtained from visits to the site, the contract documents, and the site-related reports and drawings identified in the contract documents with respect to the effect of such information, observations, and documents on 1, the cost, progress, and performance of the work; 2, the means, methods, techniques, sequences, and procedures of construction to be employed by contractor; and 3, contractor safety precautions and programs.
Yeah, that's common.
And then that based on the information and observations referred to in the preceding paragraph, contractor agrees that no further examinations, investigations, explorations, tests, studies, or data are necessary for the performance of the work at the contract price within the contract times and in accordance with the other terms and conditions of the contract?
I'm sure it states that. Are you referring to the need for the geotech report to be
No,
done?
I'm saying, did you read do you understand that this was a representation in the contract that you signed?
Generally, I would accept that. Yeah, the contracts tend to be similar, but do we read each one word for word? We don't.
And
Should.
And it also states the contractor has carefully studied all reports of explorations and tests of subsurface conditions at or adjacent to the site, and all drawings of physical conditions relating to existing surface or subsurface structures at the site that have been identified in the supplementary conditions, especially with respect to technical data in such reports and drawings. And two, reports and drawings relating to hazardous environmental conditions, if any, at or adjacent to the site that have been identified in the supplementary conditions, especially with respect to technical data in such reports and drawings.
If you're referring to, did we read about the conditions of the site, knowing that that there was groundwater there? We knew there was groundwater there. We knew what we were going to be digging into, but in order to design sufficient shoring for it, the geotechnical report provided was not sufficient for the shoring that was not discovered until we had done some potholing after to determine that it wasn't sufficient. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, yes, based upon your experience, you bid on this job, and you're making representations that you understood exactly what you're bidding on and the time frame that it would take you to complete the job, and yet we're here.
Well, I think it's fairly common in jobs like this to say that there exists groundwater here. I know there was a geotech report done, and it's common to say that if you get in and conditions change down low, then that's changing conditions. And by no means would we say, who cares? You have a geotech report. We're going to put shoring in according to that geotech report and then put our guys inside there. Who cares? You gave us a geotech report. No, if we start digging and conditions change, we say, this is an extreme safety condition. We get the proper experts in there to give us a better geotech report. Should say better, a more detailed geotech report so that we can design a safe environment to put our guys in to do the excavation. That's not that uncommon for digs like this. It's 25 feet deep, fairly small. And so responsibly, we could take what was given, the geotech report that was given, the ground conditions that were given, put a bid together, and then say at the time, hey, this isn't sufficient. Now, if it were sufficient, I would assume the gardener would say, no, you're good. That's sufficient. Give us your design and we'll go with it. Or whatever engineer would say, submit your design and we'll go with it. Or in this case, we use Jones Excavating, a very qualified local contractor in these type of digs and shoring. They went in there and looked at it and said, we're not going to stamp this unless we get better information for the conditions that are here. This all happens once we get out there and start going on it. We'll bid it according to the information we're given so that everybody's shooting at the same target. We were the low bid and fortunately got awarded the job. Once we got in and discovered a change in conditions, I believe any contractor would have said, stop, we need some more information before we design this. Let's make sure everything's safe and go to that point.
When did you start digging? You got notice to proceed on March 13th. When did you start digging?
August was when the first panel started.
But that was after we had discovered that they needed more information on the...
Design the whole entire thing to make it safe and to make it doable.
I mean, Jones got in there to do some potholing before that point.
Yes.
And we got in there.
All the preliminary stuff was done. We had to redesign it because of the situation. Then we had to look at it again because we were too close to the original or the existing building. So we had to make some changes there. And so it took a while to get to that point where we started. But the 25th of August was when Jones showed up to start putting that first panel in for that.
That's all the questions I have.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we have liquidated damages on this, Amy?
Yes, we do. It's section 4.02.
What is that amount?
What was that?
What is that dollar amount? Is it daily or?
Yes, it's $500 a day. It's $500 a day from substantial completion, missing the substantial completion date, and then $500 a day after, final completion. It's not, but it doesn't, they're not imposed concurrently. So it's just $500 a day from missing the substantial completion to the final, and then it just starts $500 a day from the final moving forward.
So is that from the 6.5 is what the current contract is right now?
Yes, that would be
Okay.
correct.
All right. So that's, is it 91 days to the new proposed finish date? Does that sound right?
So whatever is, September 4th. is
6.5
the-
to September 4th?
Was the date extended to the 19th from subsequent change orders after? I
It
mean,
was-
that's the overall point. I get that doesn't change that, but I was thinking 6/19 was what it moved to. But that doesn't change, I think, the point of the question.
Yeah, according to change order number 3, it states contract is being extended to a substantial completion of 6/5/26 and final completion of 6/19/26.
Okay, that's where that date came from.
All right, so I just want to put this information out here before I put a recommendation to the board. That's 91 days past their contract time right there. At 500 a day is $48,000 in liquidated damages that are due if they complete on that day. I mean, if it's sooner, it helps them out. My concern here is they were awarded this contract with a period of performance of 12 months. Then we gave them an additional 3-month extension after their turnover date. I mean, it was after. And then now we're asking for another 3 months. That's why I was trying to understand if there was any issues that we held you up with submittals or anything else. And it sounds like that wasn't an issue. The design, so the geotech report, I'm on your side with that. I mean, you start digging and you see the soils change, you need to change quickly and make sure you're safe. So I understand that part of it. But going to 18 months now, I think is a little bit too long for what we understand. It would be my recommendation to the board that we consider maybe settling with the deductive change order to give them that extension change. Maybe we meet them somewhere in the middle on that. Instead of 48,000, maybe it's 24,000, something to that point. And that would be my recommendation to the board.
Part of the reason, well, and just on the time for the geotechnical report does take time to get the resources together, and then there's scheduling with Jones Excavation to get back out there that takes time. I know there were other minor changes that delayed. There was a power line, I believe, that was in the way. I don't think that caused any big changes, but there were different things like that as to why that went into that number. It wasn't simply, the major thing was the geotech report, if I understand right, the way I understand the situation, but there were other things that were contributed there. But yeah, mainly our focus has been what was submitted on the change order number 3 and approved for time, and that schedule wasn't accurate. The things that we'd missed there, and looking at it, if it goes masonry and then 2 weeks later substantial completion, that's an obvious, you can't do that. Our mistake, but not just a patently obvious error there. Had we caught that before, we would have submitted the schedule with this substantial completion time of August back then, for what it's worth. And that's where we're on our change order number 4, what we're presenting and requesting.
So all of those conditions that you ran into, did you guys document that and turn that into John, Mr. Wallace?
I believe so.
We had meetings first. We had meetings on site.
Okay. Were those included in change order 3 then? Or
If they weren't in 3, they were up to, I don't know, I shouldn't speak to that. And those changes were incorporated or.
I mean, if you have major
part of
delays like
3.
that, usually you track them and you turn them in because you want to get that time back. I'm just trying to see if that actually happened on our side. Do we know if that did, John?
We were aware of their schedule didn't look right on the last. But it's a schedule that they presented, it's a schedule that
Yep.
were accepted, so. We didn't think that was, I think I even mentioned it in that board meeting that I don't see that happening.
Yeah, John, can you come with the mic? Sorry.
Yeah, when we seen that change order, number 3 come in with that date, we felt like that was not possible for some of the things that you'd mentioned as far as, the masonry work finishing and 2 weeks later it's done. There was some things in there that were, but that was the change order that they submitted and we brought it to the board. We approved that change order. I had mentioned at that time, I don't believe they'll hit that date. They're gonna go further than that. I don't think this change order is very good. That date's accurate, and you may remember or recall that conversation, so. Yeah, that's kind of what led to this. And with that, there was some other things we weren't real happy at the time with some of the way things were being conducted on the site. Since then, we resolved that. I think we've had some meetings and met with them on site and got those things kind of figured out. I know that, and I'm not here to defend them, the decision's yours to make, on the timeline type stuff, but I will mention that since our last meeting and stuff with them, they've been doing a great job. They've been showing up. They've got their time. I think this schedule they got now is valid. I think they'll hit this date I think they'll be successful with that. They're moving things forward like they've never done before. I mean, they're really doing a good job. So that's just, at the end of the day, they have a contract and they have a timeline to stay in, and that decision's up to you, whether you decide to go with liquidated damages or put them on notice or whatever it is you're gonna do, so. But they have been good about it. We've been in contact with them. Nate's out there pretty much every day. I got a stack of photos a mile deep. And he's really good at keeping me informed and updating everything that's going on and whatnot. So progress is going well right now.
Perfect. Thanks, John.
Any more questions for John? Yep.
And yeah, as John just said, that's basically our position too. That schedule that was presented was not good. We did present it and we signed that change order. And so it's just coming here saying we made a mistake, that schedule. And we talked a little bit last meeting of why we believe we made that mistake. But that was a mistake. You can't finish a building in 2 weeks after, and it's right there on the schedule. So.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us? Or we're going to
I don't know if there are any other questions or.
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Congratulations on you guys catching up and since the last meeting, so good job.
Thank you.
Yep, it's a good job. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into
Okay.
closed session.
Okay. We do a roll call or just say aye? Aye.
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 Okay. All right, back.